Like back when I was like younger, like 13, 14, after school I would just come home, jump straight onto the PS4 and play Fortnite and FIFA. I had no drive. Instead of leveling up my character in real life, I was just focused on leveling up in the video game. The majority of your week should be dedicated to the grind. We have to grind, we have to make ourselves proud, and we have to make our family proud. Okay, so let me guess. You're probably between the ages of 13 to 28, maybe 30. You really want to succeed in life. You know what you have to do to succeed, but then you find that you don't have that drive and you don't have that motivation to actually put in the work and to execute the daily tasks that you have to do in order for you to succeed. Well, in this video, I'm going to reveal to you guys the number one thing that is causing you to lack motivation to actually achieve the goals that you have in life. So let's get into it, man. Let's go. YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Spencer, man. For those of you that are new here, my name is Spencer. I am a student studying at the University of Cambridge, and I give advice based on past experiences, alright? So let's get straight into the video, man. Let's go. Alright, so where does motivation actually come from? Because some people actually think that motivation is just like some feeling that is spontaneous or whatever, right? Motivation comes from a neurotransmitter called dopamine. What is a neurotransmitter? A neurotransmitter is just a chemical messenger that transmits signals from one place to another place. And the neurotransmitter that causes you to feel motivated is called dopamine. Now, when you don't have enough dopamine, or when your dopamine levels are low, it causes you to feel depressed, to feel sad, and to lack motivation. Like it makes you feel negative, it makes you feel like you can't achieve anything in this life. And you probably know some people like this. Like you probably know people that are just like, they walk around life with no hope. Like they're always negative. Like this is how they walk around life. They walk around life like this. They got their head down and shit. They just walk around like this with their head down. And that's what low levels of dopamine does to you. It makes you an unmotivated person. Now, what does high levels of dopamine do? High levels of dopamine causes you to feel happy. It causes you to feel motivated, and it causes you to have this drive to achieve all of your goals in life. It makes you a very positive person, an optimistic person who knows that if they put in the work, they can achieve all of their goals and make everyone around them proud. So those are the two different scenarios that people fall into nowadays. Some people have low dopamine and some people have high dopamine. Now, in terms of dopamine, everyone has a baseline level of dopamine. To the baseline in the amount of dopamine that you have. Now, depending on what you do, there can be spikes in the amount of dopamine that you have in your body, right? After a high comes a low. So when there's a huge spike in dopamine, it causes a very large decrease in the amount of dopamine that you have. And it takes some time for the dopamine level to recover back to the baseline. Now, there's good and bad dopamine. And the type of dopamine that you consume is going to determine whether you're a motivated person or if you're not a motivated person. The bad dopamine that I'm referring to is known as cheap dopamine. Cheap dopamine comes in many forms, such as smoking, drinking alcohol, excessive drinking, alcohol, partying, playing video games all the time, you know what I'm saying? And cheap dopamine causes very large spikes in dopamine. And after that very large spike, there's a very large decrease in dopamine. And if you consume too much cheap dopamine. Your dopamine levels may not be able to return back to the baseline level of dopamine, so they'll always remain low. Because we have to think about it like this. There's the baseline of dopamine. If you're consuming cheap dopamine all the time, day in and day out, if you're playing video games day in and day out, then there's going to be a huge spike, then there's going to be a rapid decrease. And if you keep on playing video games, that dopamine level is not going to be able to recover back to the baseline, so that's going to remain low. And like I said at the start of the video, if you have low levels of dopamine, you're going to be an unmotivated person. You're going to be someone that just lies in bed all day, not motivated to do anything, fam. You're going to be a loser, fam, I can't lie. So by you consuming too much cheap dopamine, it causes your dopamine level to just remain as low as possible. And another thing, with cheap dopamine, it causes your threshold of enjoyment and pleasure to also increase. So for example, let's say, I'm not gonna say this term, cause I'll probably get demonetized or whatever. But people watch the P word. Like some people watch the P word, right? And they might start up with watching like just normal stuff, right? But then over time, as they become addicted and as they get used to that cheap dopamine, their threshold for enjoyment increases, and that leads to them watching weird stuff like anime stuff, or stuff with like multiple people. Man, I need to go into more. Maybe I'll create like a Patreon or something so I can give further in detail. But I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm referring to, like POR, then there's one more letter. So when you consume too much cheap dopamine, your threshold to enjoyment increases. People who consume too much dopamine have no drive in life. And this used to be me. Like back when I was like younger, like 13, 14, I had no drive. After school, I would just come home, jump straight onto the PS4 or whatever, and play Fortnite and FIFA. I had no drive. Instead of leveling up my character in real life, I was just focused on leveling up in the video game. While my competitors are leveling up in real life. You have to make sure that you reduce the amount of cheap dopamine that you consume, because otherwise you're going to become a loser, and you will stay a loser unless you change. What are some of the strategies that you guys can follow to become more motivated? Well, number one, you have to reduce the amount of cheap dopamine that you're consuming. You have to reduce the amount of alcohol you're drinking, the amount of time you spend on video games, the amount of time you go out partying. Just reduce all of the bad habits that you have that are taking up your time. Like even chasing girls, you have to reduce the amount of time you spend chasing girls. Like, if you're watching this, you used to work on becoming so cold that the girls chase you, G. That's the coldest way to do it. You let the girls chase you. You don't chase the girls, bro. Because that's taking up time and that's taking up mental space as well. That time you spend on chasing girls can be used to better improve your life. So number one, you need to reduce the amount of cheap dopamine that you're consuming. Number two, you can also increase the baseline level of your dopamine in your body. So you can increase the dopamine baseline level so that it's higher. Because like I said at the start of the video, if your dopamine levels are high, then you're going to be a motivated person, you're going to be happy, you're going to be positive, you're going to have that drive to succeed. Now how can you increase this baseline level of dopamine? Number one, working out. Working out has been proven to increase your baseline level of dopamine. Like I started working out when I was 15. As soon as I started working out, it's like I gained some power in my hands, man. It's like I became Superman. Like something just switched, and then I became disciplined. I became motivated to achieve my goals. So you gotta start working out. That's one of them. Cause it's like, as soon as you start working out, it's like, you feel like a beast. You feel like you can do anything in life, fam. That aspect of thinking that you can do anything in life is gonna be the thing that pushes you to write down a goal and to write down a plan so that you can actually achieve that goal. It causes you to not have small goals, but you have larger, more extreme goals, because you deeply believe that you can actually work hard and achieve those goals. So number one, you have to work out. Number two, there's something called cold therapy or cold exposure. And basically this is where you just expose yourself to cold environment. So this can be done with like taking cold ice baths or having a cold shower. That's another thing, taking cold showers. I started taking cold showers when I was 15. And cold therapy has been proven to almost double your baseline level of dopamine. So make sure that you're taking cold showers. It will increase your baseline level. You can still consume cheap dopamine, but you have to avoid it as much as possible. Just be focused on the grind. I'm not saying be focused on the grind 24/7, but the majority of your day, the majority of your week should be dedicated to the grind. We have to always grind, man. We have to grind, we have to make ourselves proud, and we have to make our family proud. Like, if we grind now, in 10 years time, in 15 years time, we're good. You know what I'm saying, bro? So you have to keep on grinding no matter what. Make sure to subscribe and like the video, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions. If you grind, you'll succeed. If you do nothing, you'll stay the same G, alright? Stay cold, bro, and keep on grinding. We'll win in the future.